Hi. Session 33 writing task was to write a letter to family GP Dr. Lacrisel referring Mr. Pittman, who was admitted to Nurslead Outpatient Clinic in the Newtown Hospital with deep laceration on lower left arm as a result of an accidental injury with handsaw while cutting wood, requesting to do a full cardiac assessment and management of Mr. Pittman's hypertension. Here you are a nurse in Nurslead Outpatient Clinic in the Newtown Hospital where Mr. Pittman was admitted, and you're writing a referral letter to family GP asking him to do a full cardiac assessment and management of Mr. Pittman's hypertension. Let us look into the case note first. This is a simple and very straightforward case note. The name and age of the patient is important and should be mentioned in the reference part of the letter. Here, not all the information are relevant and need to be mentioned in the letter. Since the letter is written to the family GP, the patient is already known to the doctor. Hence, you can avoid mentioning the patient's family job, habits, and past medical history. Moving further, we can see a lot of dates along with some information. Even though all the information provided are relevant, you should take special care in organizing the information in an impressive manner so that the continuity of the letter is not lost. Since there are a lot of numerical given, you can use them while framing the letter, but it would be much appreciated if you don't overuse them while framing the letter. The assessment and plan mentioned in the case note are relevant and should be emphasized in the letter. Taking all these points, we have to prepare a letter. Now let us see how we can write a letter with the help of a sample letter written by a candidate from India. The address, date and salutation written by the candidate are correct. Moving to the reference, the writer could have written it better. While writing reference, we don't have to write the word aged. Instead, we can simply say 69 years. So we can write the reference as RE, then place a colon and write Mr. Waiter Pittman, 69 years. Moving to the introduction paragraph, I am writing to refer Mr. Pittman, who has been diagnosed with orthostatic hypertension, requires a full cardiac assessment and management at your care, which is perfectly written as it says about the condition of the patient and what the patient requires. Moving to the second paragraph, Mr. Pittman has been noted with elevated blood pressure recordings for the last 10 days. Today his blood pressure is 190/89 mmHg and 196/86 mmHg in sitting and in supine position respectively, which is also a perfect explanation. Moving to the third paragraph, on 1st August 2018, Mr. Pittman was admitted to Newtown Hospital with deep laceration on lower left arm, wound sutured and a course of intravenous antibiotics. He was discharged with oral antibiotics on 3rd day and regular dressing were done in Nurslead Outpatient Clinic. Wound healed well without infection. Here the information provided are relevant, but here the second sentence says wound sutured and a course of intravenous antibiotics, which is incomplete, and this can be rewritten as wound sutured and a course of intravenous antibiotics were administered. Coming to the next sentence, he was discharged with oral antibiotics on 3rd day and regular dressing were done in Nurslead Outpatient Clinic. Then you have to place a new sentence here instead of comma, that is, his wound is well healed without any complication and his BP is still elevated, which is much better. Moving to the rest of the letter, Mr. Pittman lives a sedentary lifestyle with no exercise. He requires further care and management for ongoing hypertension. Here the first sentence written is irrelevant because you are writing this letter to the family's GP, which means this patient is known to this doctor. Coming to the wind-up sentence, you have to mention the name of the patient along with the sentence. Then it becomes, please do not hesitate to contact me for further queries regarding Mr. Pittman. The sign-off is written perfectly. That's about the letter. Thank you.
New method for OET learning. How are you preparing? Online or offline? For speaking and writing, you can get tutor reviews. How will you be able to manage your reading and listening? How can you manage your self-practice easier than ever before? Learn OET in Merlin's way, most successful OET learning method from world's best online trainer. Chat now. mentormerlinexam.com.